Winnipeg Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey has been suspended for 1 game for his cross-check to the head of Minnesota Wild forward Eric Staal. In this video, we're going to discuss the situation, and I'll give you my thoughts on the suspension. Coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as some of you may have heard, Winnipeg Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey has been suspended by the NHL Player Safety Department for 1 game for his cross-check to the head on Minnesota Wild forward Eric Staal. Now, if you have not seen the clip or you weren't watching the game, there is a link down in the description where you can watch what happened here and form your opinion on the hit. Obviously, we can't show the footage here. Every time we do a video discussing a play or suspension, we always get comments saying, show the hit, where's the footage? I'm just going to remind you yet again, we cannot show that here due to copyright rules, but there is a link down in the description which will be linked to one of the channels that own the rights to be able to show the footage here. So check that out if you haven't seen it, and you'll see what we're referring to here. So back to the situation. Obviously, the Winnipeg Jets were on the penalty kill here. I can't believe myself there was no penalty on this call, and I find it very difficult and hard to see how the referees missed the situation. This kind of happened right in front of the net, kind of out in the slot area. Morrissey basically went to kind of just shove Staal, but he got him up way too high, which is kind of hard to see, considering the height difference here. Eric Staal is quite tall compared to Morrissey. You know, he's got to really reach up to really push him. And he ended up getting him basically right in the side of the head, right over the ear. And Staal was, you know, he didn't leave the game. He did look in quite a bit of distress and discomfort getting off, going over to the bench. Because I can imagine that hurt quite a bit. Thankfully, he wasn't injured to the point where he had to leave the game or miss any action outside of a few extra shifts on the bench. But obviously, Coach Bruce Boudreau was very visibly upset, as any coach would have been, that there was no call on the play. And in his post-game interviews, he said he felt that non-call basically cost the Wild the game. And it's kind of, I don't completely agree with him, but he does certainly have some points, because they're already on a 5-on-4 power play at that point. They're down a goal. If that call is made, that's more than likely going to be a major penalty. I mean, at the very least, it was going to be a 2-minute minor for sure. Would have given them a 5-on-3, which was a prime opportunity to score. And obviously, if they score on that resulting penalty call, that could probably completely change the game at that point in time. Now, because this was a cross-checking call, there was either, or would have been a cross-checking call, I should say, they only have the option of either doing it. There's no double minor option, so they only have the option of either doing a minor penalty for 2 minutes, or it becomes a 5-minute major in a game misconduct. So obviously, based on the play, if it had been called, it definitely would have been a major in my opinion, and it likely could have changed the game, and it could have changed the series. I mean, if that changed the game enough to the point that the Wild won, we'd be talking about a 2-2 series here instead of a 3-1 lead for Winnipeg. So obviously, I fully understand the Wild's frustration and Coach Bruce Boudreau's comments after the game. I don't understand how this wasn't called. Based on where the play was, kind of in the middle of the ice, like in the slot area, there was a referee right back in the corner. You can't help but wonder if they didn't call it because they were already on the penalty kill. Minnesota already had a power play, and maybe they let it go because of that. I'm not sure. I mean, it shouldn't be the case, but you know, sometimes and when you're watching hockey, you see times where they either ease up because there's already a penalty like that, or you see times where they miss a call, and then the next thing that gets called is kind of soft and questionable, but they feel like they have to make it up for the other non-call. That happens all the time, which is kind of ridiculous in a way, but it does happen, and it is, you know, kind of just the nature of hockey, I guess. But at the same time, like I said, that definitely could have changed the game, and I don't know how the refs missed it, but at the end of the day, they did. The suspension is definitely warranted, but I do think that if they had called a penalty on the play, that it most likely would have been a major penalty. And I think if the major penalty was a game misconduct had been given, that he might not have been suspended. And that's kind of that's just my take on it, because I think they would have looked at it and said, well, you know what, that was sufficient. But where nothing was called and he didn't have any, you know, no penalty at all from that, and he get to play the rest of the game, I think that's the main reason why he is being suspended here for 1 game. Obviously, we've seen a few suspensions now. We've seen Drew Doughty's suspension. We saw Nazem Kadri's suspension. Now we have this one. There's more hearings coming up. There's lots of action that happened last night. That's some of it for sure is going to result in a hearing. I know Ryan Hartman of the Nashville Predators has a hearing later today as well for a situation with Carl Soderberg of the Avalanche last night. If you were watching the Tampa in New Jersey game, there was definitely some hits in that game that certainly could be looked at. The Nikita Kucherov hit on Sami Vatanen definitely looks like, I mean, the angles that I saw looked like he got head first with his shoulder, which is extremely similar to the Drew Doughty situation, which got him suspended. I haven't seen an angle yet where it looks like he got body contact first, but before I make a video discussing that situation, I'm kind of waiting to see if he's going to get a hearing or not, and try to find some footage that kind of maybe shows a different point of contact, because I was watching the game, I seen it happen live, and at first glance I was like, oh, that looks like a headshot, he's going to get suspended. But then so far nothing's come from it. They've already announced Ryan Hartman has a hearing. They haven't said a word about Kucherov, so I guess we'll see. So leave some comments down below. What do you think about the Josh Morrissey suspension here? Do you think it's justified? I think most people will probably agree that it is. I've heard some people say it should be more than one game, so I'd love to hear your opinions down in the comments. And if you were watching any other action last night when it comes to the Ryan Hartman or the Nikita Kucherov hits, we may be posting videos on those depending on how things develop with player safety. But leave your comments on those hits. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see if you think those are suspension worthy as well. Don't forget as well, we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up here real soon. As of the recording of this video, we're about 30 subscribers away from hitting that magical milestone, and we'll do the giveaway right after. So do everything you can to help us get there. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of great content and giveaways coming up, so stay tuned. If you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter. You're going to find our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're very active on Twitter, and we love engaging with a lot of our viewers and subscribers, so check out that account as well. It is linked down below in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.